Hello everybody, how's it going? It's Mr. Q again. What's up? Hope you guys are all staying safe and having fun. Today, we're going to be talking about part 2 of my hiking in a desert video series. We already talked about supplies and what you need to keep you safe. Today, I'm going to spend some time talking about why those things are important. Specifically, water and coverings. Alright, so get ready to learn 10 more things about hiking in a desert. Let's get into it. People hiking in the desert. Obviously, if you're going hiking, you think you want to take some water with you, but hiking in the desert is much more dangerous to hike without water. And you might ask yourself, why? I'm not exercising any harder than I normally do, so why do I need to make sure I have water when I'm in the desert? Well, the first thing you should remember is that deserts are dry. I know, it makes sense, but there's not very much water in the desert. There's not very much humidity in the desert. And even though you're not exercising more, the sun causes you to sweat. What happens is your body, doesn't matter how much you exercise, your body sweats. You may or may not notice that. You may have noticed me sweating in class because I'm very sensitive to humidity. So when the humidity gets high, my body is sweating. And what happens is the body sweats because the air is supposed to go across your sweat, causing your sweat to evaporate. That means that the water is going from your skin into the air. So the water evaporates from your skin. And when this happens, it cools the skin. It helps the skin feel cooler. So your body sweats to help your body feel cooler, especially in the desert. But normally, when you see me sweating, you say, why is he sweating so much? Because my body is used to sweating and that sweat evaporating and cooling my body down. And this is what happens normally. And when you're in the desert, you don't realize how much you sweat because it just happens automatically. You sweat, it evaporates, your body cools down. But because this is happening and you don't realize it, that means you're losing a lot of water from your body. And you have to put that water back into your body. So it's very important to stay hydrated. Hydrated means that you keep water in your body. If you are dehydrated, that means you have very little water in your body. And when you have very little water in your body, it hurts your body. So many people hiking in the desert suffer from dehydration because they haven't drank enough water, because their skin has been sweating and the water has been evaporating. Maybe they've even had to urinate and they lost water that way. So it's very important that even if you're not thirsty, you should be drinking water when you hike in the desert. Let me tell you, when you feel thirsty when you're hiking in the desert, that's very bad. That means you're very dehydrated. So, when hiking in the desert, make sure you drink plenty of water. Here's a graphic showing what some of the symptoms are if you are suffering from dehydration. As I've already indicated, an important thing to remember about hiking in the desert is the sun. Yes, it causes dehydration, but it can also do other things because it can cause your skin to get burned, right? I'm sure many of you might have had a sunburn before. It's much easier to get a sunburn in the desert because if you have less water, then it's harder for your body to fight against the ultraviolet light. And that's what causes sunburns. So, if your body is being affected by the sun, you could suffer from heat stroke, which is a combination of dehydration and other problems with your body and your brain not getting enough water. So it's very important, that's what I say, to have sunscreen. That way any of your exposed skin, you can put that on there and it'll help your body fight the ultraviolet rays from the sun. And that's why you want to have a hat for your head. That way you can protect your head and your face a little bit from the sun. And also, that's a reason to bring a windbreaker or a small light jacket so that can protect your other body parts, your arms and stuff, from the sun. I know you might be hot and you might want to take off your shirt. That's not a good idea to do in the sun because that exposes more of your body. More body exposed, that means there's more surface area for you to lose water, and that's more surface area for your body to be fighting the ultraviolet rays that cause sunburn. So, it's very important to make sure that you cover yourself properly when you hike in the desert, to make sure that the sun doesn't affect you for as long as possible.
This graphic shows if you're suffering from heat stroke.
The desert, of course, has some friendly animals, not just things that could hurt you. One of the famous creatures that we have in New Mexico, the state bird, is called a roadrunner. That's right. Maybe you've seen Wile E. Coyote and the roadrunner. Meep, meep. Right? Yes, well, that's not too far off. Roadrunners get their name because they like to run. They can fly, but roadrunners prefer to stay on the ground. They can run very fast. They can run upwards of 15 miles an hour. That's 24 kilometers an hour. That's pretty fast, especially for a little bird running on the ground. They eat all kinds of things, especially things that we don't like and that might bother us. So there are some friendly plants and friendly animals. If you get lost in the desert, some cactus have fruit on it that is edible. And the most common is called the prickly pear. It is a little red ball at the top of the plant. Now, even though it's edible, it tastes horrible. You won't like it. But if you're lost and you need to survive, that's one way you can survive, by eating the prickly pear from that cactus. Really, probably you should make a soup out of it. That would be better. It won't taste quite as bad. But cactus have water inside of them. Obviously, the bigger the cactus, the more chance that there's going to be water inside of it. So if you get lost and you need to survive, hopefully one of the items in your backpack might be a little knife. that you can use to cut things. Not a big knife, it doesn't have to be big. Just something small that can fit into your pocket or into your little backpack. And then you can cut open a cactus, or you can cut up the prickly pear and eat that horrible fruit to help you survive. So, pay attention to the clouds, because if it starts raining and you are in a ditch, that water could come and knock you over. It's very important that you pay attention to whether or not it's going to be raining in the desert. There might not be much rain in the desert though, so you probably won't have to worry about that too much.
Here's Sissy and I, walking Mr. Q.
Alright guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed part 2 of my hiking in a desert video series. Let's review what we talked about. Today we talked about the importance of water, how it keeps your body hydrated, how it's important that you do not become dehydrated. We talked about how your body becomes dehydrated, mostly by sweating. We also talked about the importance of protecting yourself from the sun, because you could come down with a condition called heat stroke. And it's very important to protect your body from the sun by covering it up, using sunscreen and stuff like that. But I didn't want this just to be all bad. I also talked about some good things that you'll see in the desert, like the Roadrunner. Beep beep! So, today, your homework is to come up with 5 more things that you think you need to do to stay safe while hiking. Alright, write those down and then discuss and share it with your classmates. Alright guys, we'll see you next time. Stay safe and keep having fun.